Hey, welcome to Instant Reaction, the Blue Jay Banner post-game show. We are live on our YouTube channel. Thanks for finding us. So important to us. If you hit that subscribe button, please hit that for us. Hit the like and share as well. Welcome to the show tonight. Your interactions are more than welcome. You can send us an email to bjbinstantreaction@gmail.com. We'll get you on the show. But first, as always, we kick it off with Coach's Corner. And tonight we have Courtney Williams, assistant coach at Creighton. Coach,
it's a mouthful. I know it. I know. I'm sorry.
No, that's just me. I'm old. My tongue is fat, right? Hey, how you doing, man? It's great to see you again.
I'm great. It's always good to join you guys after we get a win.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we've had some losses and some wins along the way, haven't we?
Those aren't so fun. It's not your fault, but it's not so fun.
Hey, so what were you looking to get out of tonight's game, and did that happen?
Yeah, well, we've gone into every game looking to continue to get better on the defensive end. Obviously being able to manipulate different matchups and see who's who on that side of the ball has been a big emphasis for us. And then offensively, continue to carry over our ball movement, see if we can make some shots here and there, get the big fella involved, which I think we've done a pretty good job of as of late. So, yeah, I think we saw the things we wanted to see.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one particular instance in the first half when Mac just jumped out of the floor and started applauding. I mean, it was like there was 6 passes, I think, and then we found the wide open guy. I mean, that was huge.
Yep, that led to it was either Shireman or Farabello who ended up getting a 3, I think, at the top of the key on that possession where it just whipped around.
2 guys that you want to shoot the ball for sure. But I tell you what, in a team like this with there's a lot of talent on the floor at any given time. So it's important that our ball continues to move and we play the right way. And that stuff will carry over as the season goes on, right?
Yeah. I mean, the game started out, we jumped out big on it, but I'll tell you what, there's a couple guys out on that floor. That Bo Montgomery, whoa, that dude's got a great looking shot.
He's a player, and he has a strong athletic body. He gets to spots fairly quickly, and he was a matchup problem for us.
Yeah, and then the big guy too. I mean, Fred has looked so good in these first couple games, and tonight that guy took it to Fred a little bit.
Yeah, and again, you talk about matchup nightmares. I mean, the guy was 6'5", 240. He's quick. He scored a lot of points in college basketball, so he just kind of knows what he's doing out there, and he saw the young fella and took it to him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, they went 25 to 62 total overall. Those 2 guys hit 15 of the 25. So the rest of the way around was a great effort. I pointed out a particular thing during the game. I think it was in the second half. You're up by 30.
Mm-hmm.
Trey goes on the floor, dives for a ball, and you jumped off the bench. I got out of my seat and said, "Hey, that was it. That kind of play when you're up 30 from one of your starters, you just can't replicate that. You can talk all you want, but until the other guys see that, that's really something."
Yeah, it's about developing and maintaining that mentality, right? The scoreboard doesn't matter. You want to be the same no matter what the circumstances are. You want to have a defensive edge. You want to share the ball offensively. No matter what's going on, you want to approach every possession the same way. So yeah, that's why I got out of my seat that way.
Speaking of a defensive edge, Sharif was a hound dog tonight. He was all over the place. Yeah. Refense, yeah. He was not letting anybody get anywhere. I don't even know. Not all of them ended up in steals, but there had to have been like 6-7 times he just knocked the ball away from the guy he was guarding one-on-one. So even when he's not scoring a lot.
That was good to see. I know, the Creighton faithful that's been around since he's been in the program was excited to see, plays like that. Obviously, I've only been here going into my second year now. So I heard about the Sharif havoc that he can cause. But, last year he was injury riddled. So now I finally get to see what everybody's been talking about. So, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting.
So you've been around the game a long time. You ever seen a guy go 19-19 over 2 games?
You know what? I have been fortunate enough to be around some very talented big guys, and he is among the top of that list for sure. For sure. No question.
But we have to say this. Mr. Nembhard was giving him some great looks tonight.
It helps when you have a point guard that and they have their own thing, man. They have a good relationship, and he knows where he is and where he wants it, and he does a good job of giving it to him in the right spots. How about the 3-ball?
Yeah.
Well, we knew that was coming. We knew that was coming at some point. I mean, he's bluffed it a few times, and I was like, he's gonna jack one pretty soon. And I immediately said, that's for all you NBA guys out there.
He's put in a ton of work. He's put in a ton of work to expand his game that way, and it's he's got to shoot some. He's got to shoot some.
Absolutely. We mentioned Trey already, just all the things he does quietly, but a guy that just had a quiet 13 points tonight with Arthur. I mean,
talented, man. Those guys are. And again, it helps back to the ball movement, back to those guys sharing the ball. Any given night, it could be your night. Kalkbrenner has, I don't know what he had tonight. I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, but
22
in how many minutes?
I don't have the minutes. That coach, he actually sent me the St. Thomas sheet, and it said Kalkbrenner's 4 of 9. I went, wait a minute, this is not right.
But back to it though. I mean, when those guys share the ball, it could be anybody's night, right?
Yeah.
It could be Arthur's night, it could be Kalk's night, it could be R2's night, Trey, Baylor. It's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah. I remember back to media day, I was talking with Baylor, and I specifically asked him about rebounding. And I think everybody's been just wowed by his rebounding. I mean, throws up another 9 tonight. I mean, he's really done a great job. And not only that, he can take it off the rim and go. And it allows R2 to get out on the wing and then make a secondary pass.
Exactly. No, Baylor we were just talking about it as a staff. He has a knack for finding the ball and getting to it quickly. And we were looking at the stat sheet, and I brought up the point. It's like, man, what's up with Art's rebounding numbers? And, you watch the film, they're going after balls at the same time, and Baylor just has a way of poking those things out of there. So it's that helps. That helps when you have a guy that can get to balls and then lead the break and facilitate for others. It helps.
Well, I remember a guy, the coach of my NAI team was all Big Ten, and he led the team in rebounding. He always said, when I played at Purdue, I went up for that ball, because if I didn't get it, one of my teammates was going to get it, and I wanted to have more rebounds. And that's the kind of mentality he had, and why at 6'5", he was a really good rebounder. And that's kind of like the way Baylor plays as well.
Yeah, you see again, you have Baylor chasing those balls, you have Art chasing those balls, and then Kalkbrenner's so you have, and Mason Miller comes in the game, he's doing the same thing. Yeah. So it helps. It helps.
And Mason had 8 tonight.
Mason's coming along. Along. He's put in a lot of work, to mature his body, his understanding of the game, and you're starting to see the results.
Pretty sweet 15-footer he knocked down there too.
How about that?
Yeah. I was about
right
to say,
hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drives right. I mean, how about that?
Yeah, I don't remember the last time Creighton had a 6'9" guy that could, take his man off the dribble and knock down a 15-footer.
Well, I think his name was Doug, right? Last time I checked.
A couple inches. He was a couple inches shorter. And
also,
it feels kind of unfair to throw him out there when he had the career that he did.
No, I know. I get it.
I remember a lot of Valley games, Coach. Doug wasn't shooting no 15-footers. He was making layups because they'd run that high screen across the free throw line, and Doug was wide open, and they feed it to him. I remember the Bradley PA guy going, McDermott again. It's just like
that's a lot of points off high low, man. A lot.
Yeah, I think he had 44 that
game.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy numbers. Speaking of crazy numbers, we can't have a show without talking about our NIL guy, Ben Schultzberg. Double digits tonight, baby. He came in there and blew it up.
Ben's fun to watch, isn't
he? He is
smooth.
Yeah, he's dynamic. His ability to shoot the ball, his ability to handle it and pass it. He's going to be a special player. And he's so mature. He understands, the guys on the roster. He understands all that stuff, and he shows up every day with the right mentality. So he's going to be a special player. He's one we're excited about.
And I don't want to put numbers on guys, but to think he's like our 10th guy is just astounding.
Hey, we're happy to have him. I'll tell you that. We're happy to have him.
Now, I'm kind of putting this next game because, first of all, Cal Riverside, I think they're projected to win their conference. Am I not correct? I think they are.
I believe so.
Number one. Number two, I kind of make this game akin to that game right before Christmas when the kids are going to take off and go home. And sometimes that's why Coach Mack always liked to play a little bit of a cupcake before that game because he knew kids' minds were elsewhere. The kids' minds are probably going to be on Maui Thursday. I know mine will be because I'm going to be on my way there.
I don't blame you.
Is that a big challenge to keep them focused? Because this probably could well be the best team we've played here in these 4-game stretch.
Yeah. Our schedule has gotten progressively better week to week, obviously. And then, St. Thomas was an unbelievable ball club as well. And they've been playing well since that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Riverside's, they're talented. They're well coached. They run a lot of actions. So, we practice tomorrow and we encourage our guys to show up ready to work and be dialed in.
Now, you guys are going out to Maui with San Diego State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing that just because they've put a licking on us a few times and now you're trying to suck up to them a little bit to calm them down and say, hey, don't be so mean to us.
I don't know. I don't know why we decided to carpool, man, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. It'll be a good trip.
Well, they're in the opposite side of the bracket, so we don't have to worry about them until the finals.
Yeah. So we'll hang out. Together for a while.
Well, Coach, I know everybody's looking forward to this last game of these 4, and then it's on to Maui where we face a lot of really, really good basketball teams. Great job so far. The team looked great tonight. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Love seeing you. And
absolutely.
We'll talk to you out on the island, baby.
Sounds good. See you guys soon.
All right, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
That's Jalen Courtney Williams, assistant coach at Creighton, with another great edition of Coach's Corner. What were your thoughts tonight, Zach?
First thing that stood out to me, I looked up. I think there were 14 minutes left in the game. Looked over at the stat board, and Ryan Nembhard had 12 assists with 15 minutes to go in the game. So that, just the ball movement, the assists overall it's like every game so far, they've kind of done one thing better than the last. Not to say they didn't share the ball well that last game, but the way that it was just whipping around, guys were getting open shots. A lot of corner threes were just open because the ball was moving, and I think they handled the zone a lot better than they did against St. Thomas. So the biggest thing to me was just the assist numbers, and also how many guys got involved as well.
Right,
like Ben went in early, and he made some shots right away.
28 assists on 37 made baskets. You'll take that every night.
Those are crazy numbers.
Yeah. Our man, Ben, 5 of 7.
Yeah.
2 of 3 from deep. Made his free throw. 13 points.
Yeah, he looked really, really good. That and one jumper he had, that was nice, man. And as soon as he got that ball in the corner on that first 3, I was like, come on, shoot it, Ben, let it go. And he just drilled it.
That stroke is so nice.
Oh
my word.
Yeah.
And again, like I keep saying, he's like a 10th guy over
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's crazy.
And I think an underrated aspect of his game is his athleticism. I mean, he had that putback last
Yes.
game, and then he almost had a putback dunk tonight coming from the weak side. And I think he's going to surprise a lot of people with his athleticism as opposed to, just his shooting, which I think everyone's gotten a good look at. But I think he's gonna do some things that wow some people.
All right. So we're doing something a little bit different tonight. We're going to try and get you guys more involved in the action of our show. So send an email, BJB instant reaction at gmail.com. BJB at instantreaction.com. I'm sorry, said that wrong. BJB instant reaction at gmail.com. And we've got it at the bottom of the screen. You'll be able to see it. So shoot us an email. Zach will then let you into the waiting room, and we'll get you on as soon as we can here on Instant Reaction. Just a couple things. Our sponsors, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. They are probably serving Nebraska since 1882. That's a long time ago. Had two great area locations, one on 20th and Elkhorn and just north of the TD Ameritrade headquarters. Great checking features and banking. Obviously, with everybody looking at housing interest rates and loans, great time to check out Equitable Bank and their loans for your house. They want you to let them be your personal banker. So please give them a chance. Equitable Bank, we take bank personally, and they do answer the phone on the first ring. And they're huge Jays fans and a huge supporter of Blue Jay Banner all these years. And then also West Pacific Dental Group. They're my dentist. Dr. Hogan does a great job there with his staff. They give you great care, always there to guide you on your dental plan. So give them a call, 402-697-0765. And when you do, make sure you say that Blue Jay Banner sent you. And then also Infusion Brewery, tonight, here it is. I have the walk-on red ale. I love it. It's got the football on it. At the bottom, it says it's good.
They got great branding.
They have some great names.
They do.
This is just going to be very, very special to me because, I've kind of had a really, really, really good week of football. My Vikings being the Super Bowl favorite on their turf to move to 8-1. And then if that wasn't enough, the team they're chasing in the NFC loses tonight. So now they're dead tied with them. Oh, this is the season, buddy.
Hey, there's a few teams I wouldn't be surprised to see win the Super Bowl, but that's besides the point. We do have a comment here, which is something that I totally overlooked. What about the Fred King spin move?
Woo!
So
yeah,
he can move.
Although, yeah, well, he did it. He did it in the last two games. I will say this though, Fred struggled a little bit tonight with that 6'5" dude. Yeah. I mean, he was having a little bit of problem. That guy was kind of taking it to him with different moves and so on and so forth.
He been on a lot of pump fakes.
Yeah, and then somebody mentioned our free throw shooting was bad, but Fred missed 5. So as we were yelling,
to be fair, he doesn't have a bad looking free throw stroke.
No, but as we were yelling from our seats, move that back foot forward up to the line. I know all the kids nowadays put that one foot out and the other foot back, but if you want to watch one of the best free throw shooters of all time, and I think his picture hangs in the championship center, Kyle Korver, 2 feet, square to the line, shot over 90%. There you go. So yeah, give us a chance at bjbinstantreaction.com to join the show. And you can do that
on the screen for the whole show. I have it up.
Yeah,
right now.
You go. There you go. And I think we can have another person join us. It's Easton. Hey, Easton, I think you're on mute, but go ahead. Take yourself off mute and join the show. Welcome to Instant Reaction.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
All right, yeah. Just a couple things. Number one, I think Ben earned more minutes tonight after this performance. I don't know what you think, but I think Max should play him a little more because he looked really good tonight.
I'm wondering, like, yeah, you know how we're going to be in a big time environment, okay, in Maui, and even though it's a neutral game, that's going to be electric in there, and it's the first game of the day in Maui. It's yeah, I know it'll be 9:30 Maui time, but still, it's going to be. These games are always pretty juiced, and it'll be interesting to see how Coach Mack what he does with the bench, because obviously Reef's played in big time atmospheres before. No, that'll be done. But then you've got several guys, Mason, Ben, and Fred, who haven't. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he manages that bench. And I would bet, Reef and Farabello will probably be two of the first ones off the bench because they played in those atmospheres before, especially Farabello, because obviously twice a year now he's played against Texas Tech. So that and he knows that defense that they're so famous for. So that it'll be interesting, though. That's a great point, Easton.
Yeah, I think Mason's been the best off the bench so far. It just every time he's in there, he just does something positive. So, he's been very impressive. And then the second thing is Kalkbrenner must have saw Sonogo hitting threes the other night because he said, "Hold my beer."
I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Did Sonogo hit some?
Yeah, I think he hit a couple.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen Sonogo shoot. Kalk's got way better stroke than Sonogo.
No, it was nice to see him actually hit one, though.
Yeah, he's faked that a couple times. I'll tell you what, I can't wait for the Big East because he's got a little burr under his saddle over Sonogo winning Player of the Year. I mean, he knows. You can tell, and Kalk's a pretty quiet guy and doesn't all shucks type of guy, but I'm telling you, he knows he's a better player than Sonogo. He knows that when we play them, Sonogo can only play 10 minutes because he can't handle the pace.
I was going to say, I think there's a couple of games last year to prove that as well.
You're right. So I think, that'll just be very interesting. And, it'll be Maui's going to be interesting in a lot of ways because there's going to be I hope some guys play within themselves. I don't have a problem. I know Nemhard's going to play within himself. I know Trey's going to play within himself. I think Baylor will too. I have a little, I heard John Bishop on the radio say, "Oh, Baylor, takes a really good shot." I think sometimes he kind of forces that three. There could be a better shot. Tonight he took one, a step back where he could have easily driven into the lane, either shot or made a play for somebody else. So I don't think he'll play outside himself, but I'd like to see his shot selection improve a little bit. Arthur, he might be a guy that wants to really show what he's got, and I hope he plays within himself again. Kalk, I think, will be fine, but I think Kalk's got something to prove on the national stage.
I know Arthur took a couple 3-pointers that were kind of ones that you're like, but yeah, I agree. They take some threes, but they've improved a lot since that first game. So, but yeah, I mean that's all I got. I'm just hoping UC Riverside provides some type of test before Maui, so should be a good game.
Yeah, UC at Riverside. I mean, you're not going to see a test like UConn or anything, but UC Riverside's supposed to is favored to win their league. So, and their league's not overly strong, but it's not a bad league, that Big West. So, let's see what they bring Thursday. Thanks, Easton. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and one more point. I forgot to mention this. I think we should get one win in Maui because Louisville is looking like a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. If we lose that first one, we should be able to get into the fifth place game. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. No problem. Have a good night.
Yep, have a good one.
Real strong performance by Easton there. And you can have a strong performance too. BJB instant reaction @gmail.com. Shoot us an email. Zach will let you in the waiting room and we'll pick you up. Unsung hero tonight, Zach. Who do we got?
I think I got to go with Mason again. He just does so much whenever he's out there.
Yeah. I think that's an excellent choice because typically, as people who have listened to our show over the many years know, our unsung, we kind of have unwritten rules, and we have a rule that you can't have a double-digit scoring or double-digit rebounds or double-digit assists. So that would rule Ben out. So
That's true.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mason is an excellent choice tonight for unsung hero, and he's a guy that might retire the award by the time the season's all over with because he's just been outstanding.
Yeah, he comes off the bench. He does what he needs to do. 8 boards tonight. I don't remember how many points he finished with. I know he had it at minimum 6, I believe.
Well, let me pull up. We don't have the official, box score. We had to do the Go Creighton one, which is garbage. But
I can check
Mason Miller had 8 points, 8 rebounds. Wow.
8 points, 8 rebounds, yeah.
What a solid game, man.
Yeah. And
it's a solid game.
And it's quiet. It's a quiet 8 points. It's a quiet 8 rebounds. But those are the things that help teams win games, is that guy coming off the bench, doing the dirty work, hitting open shots. So he's a good guy to have, especially as the season wears on. I mean, everyone coming off the bench, Same can be said for Ben, Fran, all those guys. Fred.
Yeah, Fred Bella's got to start hitting some threes, though. I mean, he's brought in here to hit threes, and tonight he was 2 of 7. And he had some great looks, man. He had some great looks. Great looks. All right, as we said, BJB, instantreaction@gmail.com, and we've got another person who took advantage of that, and that's Jerry. Give him a second to get logged in here. Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Pretty good, Tim. How's it going?
We're doing great, baby.
Yeah,
we're 8-1, Jerry. We're 8-1.
That's right. What's going on with Nova, man? They lost to Temple, and then they struggled with Delaware State tonight at home.
Yeah,
they still have some injuries.
I'm not sure Moore played tonight, though.
I couldn't tell. They were 0 for 16 from 3-point land the first half.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, that tells me right there Moore probably didn't play.
Yeah.
I know he was out for the Temple game. A little banged up. A lot of people just told me I was nuts when I said I think UConn is number 2 in the league and Xavier 3, and I could put Villanova 4. People thought I was nuts, but I kind of think I'm right there.
Yeah.
You got a new coach. I'm not, Moore's a terrific player. Gosh, he's so good. And I know everybody talks about the 5-star, but, Jay's had some pretty highly recruited guys before that took a while to develop in his system. And I know Jay's not there, but I'm sure the system's really not going to change that much. Let's just see what happens. It's a long season, but yeah, maybe that was a little bit of letdown from the loss. I don't know. It seemed like a strange result, though. You're right.
Yeah, Moore did not play. You were right. He wasn't in the box score. So definitely. But yeah, the Creighton, it's fun to go out. I mean, it's going to be a fun team to watch this year. We talked about that, to go out and take care of business. I think in these games, I look at turnovers. I want to make sure the team doesn't get sloppy playing inferior competition, develop some bad habits. I think they had maybe 5 or 6 turnovers through most of the game. Maybe the last 5 minutes, maybe they had some with the guys on the end of the bench getting to play, but that's kind of what I look for. I did see where Texas Tech kind of struggled tonight against, I think, Louisiana Tech or something like that. I think it was an 8 point. Of course, their games are always ugly. They play defensive struggles, and it'll be I think it's going to be interesting. And obviously, I'm looking past the game on Thursday, but it's going to be interesting to me to see how our high-power offense goes against Texas Tech, a team that's known for their defense. So it'll be interesting to see who wins that battle. So that's what I'm looking for in the game in Maui. So I think that'll be interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I just think Tech's going to be a little bit down this year.
Yeah.
The Beard was, obviously the coach there now was their big recruiter under Beard, but Beard had such an influence, and Beard's taken some of his players away, frankly.
Yeah.
And it'll just be incredibly interesting to see the fact that we played that type of defense last year against Iowa State. And remember how terrible we looked?
Yeah.
And we kind of learned some things from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, if that will carry over. By the way, to your answer your question, we had 9 turnovers tonight.
Okay. I thought I heard 5, maybe midway through the second half, and somebody made a comment about the announcer made a comment about that. I don't know if those final 4 came in the last 5 minutes when we had mostly bench guys out there, but
Trey had 3, which I don't remember him having 3 turnovers.
Yeah, nor do I.
It's weird how sometimes they attach turnovers to guys. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't remember him making any bad plays. In fact, he saved Bather a turnover there. That crazy pass Bather made in the track. I mean, I thought that was going out of bounds in the 5th row, and
he looked like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he corralled that one. So, Trace. I mean, I thought he played solid. So
he's played really solid all 3 games. Very, very under the radar, but very solid.
Yeah, very selfish player. I mean, when he gets the open 3, I trust his shot, probably maybe more than anybody on the team when he gets that open 3. So, congratulations to your Vikings, man. What a game what a victory they had on Sunday. So,
God, what a game.
I thought that was done when they got stopped. And
sure. But then Buffalo decided not to take a safety and just, somebody tonight said what they should have done, thrown it deep 3 times. That would have chewed off, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Then taking the safety. You're leaving Minnesota after you punt. You're leaving Minnesota like 8 seconds on their own 30. I mean,
right.
That would have been the smart thing to do. Although, the smart thing would be not to fumble the ball.
Fumble the ball.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's a fantastic player, but man, he'll do some dumb mistakes sometimes. But I wish he just would have done a few against the Chiefs this year.
Had 4 turnovers, 3 of them were Josh's.
Yeah, he looked like a MVP against the Chiefs, obviously. So,
and then threw that pick at the end where they were in field goal range. It was just a bad turn.
That was just not a good. He'll do that from time to time. Unfortunately, not against the Chiefs in the last couple of years. But
of course, it took the catch of the century for it to happen. But
yeah, that's right. But anyway, I guess we have Thursday night, and then it starts for real on Tuesday. But I'll be interested to see what kind of fight, Riverside puts up. Like you said, they're supposed to win their league. So maybe it'll be like a 20-point game, maybe be a little bit closer. But we'll see what happens on Thursday.
Keep hammering those overs, baby.
Yeah.
That 145 tonight was awfully weak.
Yeah. I know the guy made a call about Ben, and he's a solid looking shooter, but it's just going to be hard to find minutes this year.
I know.
Getting the grind of the season. It's, Ben's a good player, but you got a lot of guys ahead of you that are pretty good. So
that's what's so amazing about it,
Yeah. I mean,
but you never know. We're just a twisted ankle away and a guy getting 3 fouls in the first half to see Ben play a lot of minutes,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it can happen in a hurry.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned Tuesday, but the games start for real Monday, Jerry.
Okay.
So don't be late on that. Number 1. Number 2, the real big time starts Saturday at 9 a.m. Maui time.
Okay.
When I tee it up on the plantation course.
The games they play Tech on Monday then.
Yeah, Monday at I think it's 1:30 Central Time.
Yep, it'll be.
So they're pretty much hopping on a plane Friday morning and flying out there, I guess, right?
No, they're going to San Diego. Actually, they're going to San Diego. They're spending the night there. They're practicing Saturday morning, and then they're flying over with San Diego State over to Maui.
Okay.
I don't know if Maui, if the tournament sends planes for them. I don't know how that works, but it seemed kind of a little bit odd that they're going over with Maui. But maybe San Diego State's letting them practice in their facility or whatever, and they're just teaming up together. That reminds me of way back the last time. Well, I think it would be the last time they played in Hawaii. I went out. That was with a Nate Funk team. And we're on the plane. My wife and I and my son were on the plane heading out, and Homer Drew sitting 2 seats behind me. The whole Valparaiso team was on the flight with us.
Was Well, they were playing in that tournament too, huh?
Yeah, that's who Creighton played the first game.
Oh, okay.
And then they played Tom Pender's Houston team the second game, where Tom Penders had the famous statement the year before, because he was upset they didn't make the NCAA tournament and Creighton was on the bubble, and he said Creighton couldn't get the ball across half court against us. So as the Jays were up 8 with about a minute to go, the entire Creighton throng started chanting half court.
Oh.
And Penders is standing there like he didn't hear it, but he heard it. And it was pure. I remember Kevin McKenna turning around the bench and looking at the fans and kind of grinning, yeah, that's a good one, boys.
Yeah. Back in the Mo Valley days, huh?
Yeah, and I had a pleasure to spend a lot of time with Dana's brother on that trip, and I asked him, I go, what did your brother think about that? And he goes, oh, he thought that was great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, back at you.
Yeah, that was when we were kind of struggling that year until we went out there, and we had 2 good games against Valpo and Houston, and then Hawaii. Just God, they had such a home court advantage in that. I remember one of the coaches saying that was out there says, they put together this huge banquet, and all the teams are there, right? They put together this huge banquet, and one of the guys goes, one of the coaches up speaking, he goes, this is a great spread that Hawaii puts on. You think this is a great spread? You should see next door the spread they got for the referees.
No.
Yeah, well, that was a tournament. Nebraska was actually out there, and Tim Miles got 2 technicals, got kicked out of the game, I believe, if I remember correctly. I know he got 1. I think he got 2 in the semifinal against Hawaii. So,
wow,
yeah, it was the good old days.
That's right, the good old days. Was that the year that Funk picked up that ball at the Unidome and beat McDermott?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I was at that game in Cedar Falls.
Were you really? Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Dana was dancing on the court. Everybody's excited.
Yeah.
And McDermott was just shaking his head. So
what a game. So that would have been, so Funk, that was one, of all the, years I've watched Creighton, that was one of the greatest clutch shots I've ever seen. I mean, seriously, because it would look like, oh my God, we're going to come here to Cedar Falls and get beat again. And I mean, Nate drills that shot. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it was just a slop shake. You just tell McDermott just like, oh God, I can't believe I got beat by that. So
I was there the year or 2 after that. Ben Jacobson was actually not the coach Ben Jacobson, but they had another kid, Ben Jacobson, who was a superstar. You remember him, Jerry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was on that team. So was the kid from Minnesota. Oh, he was a forward 6'7" guy, real athletic. God, I can't think of his name. But anyway, it was just an absolute rock fight. We were injured. Dolzer was our point guard, I think. And we somehow pulled out like a 52-50 win against those guys. And it was just a total, grinded out rock fight. And somehow, some way, Dana, was able to pull out that game. I just sat there and went, wow, that's just Dana Altman right there winning that game, because we had no business winning that game with the talent we had on the floor that night. But yeah,
was that in their new building then? Was that in their new building?
No, that was in the Unidome.
Oh, really?
That was the only time, because I used to travel out that way. So I drove up to Cedar Falls and went to the game, and it was like, oh man,
colder than crap always
cold
there,
night. Oh man, you had to walk a ways to get in the building.
Yeah.
It was in the Unidome, and I'm looking around that place going, wow.
Horrible place to watch a basketball game. I remember sitting in my seat, and the seat was turned the other way, so you had to turn around your seat to actually see the court. It was just a bad place to watch it.
Yeah, I was on the bleacher side, I think, and it was weird. And over in the corner, some guys are practicing softball.
I know.
It's so weird. And now we're in the Big East.
Now we're in the Big East, man.
It's just crazy.
It is.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
And then you just mentioned Nate Funk, and then I immediately think to 33 points in the Valley semifinal against Missouri State. It's like one of the greatest performances I ever saw by a player.
He actually got Barry Hinson fired at Missouri State. Nate Funk was the reason Barry Hinson was fired. He always had great games against Missouri State, Nate did. And a couple of times I think Missouri State was on the bubble getting into the tournament, and just Funk just tore him up. And then he basically put him out of a job. Barry could not beat. He just could not beat Creighton and Nate Funk. I remember Nate owned that team back.
Well, you remember that was the glory year of the Valley, because that semifinal game was sold out.
Yeah,
that semifinal day, because you had Missouri State, huge, obviously,
right,
alumni base. You had Southern Illinois, obviously huge. At that time, they were, number 12 in the country.
Hated Creighton.
Then you had Creighton, huge fan following. And then if you're going to pick somebody else, who do you pick? Well, you pick Bradley, just right up the road.
Right.
So, I mean, the place was absolutely packed. It was electric. Mm-hmm. And Creighton just thumped. Who was that really good guard Missouri State had? He was a sharpshooter.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God, I can't remember his name. Anyway.
Yeah, he did. What was his name? Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He was a great player. And I'll never forget, after the game, my son and I were actually staying in the hotel where the Missouri State cheerleaders were staying, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're getting the elevator, and the mascot gets in there and starts complaining about the refs.
Boys.
And my son, he turns to him and says, "Dude, you just got beat by 20 points. Like the refs had nothing to do with it."
Yeah.
And the cheers are like, "Yeah, Joey, shut up."
Yeah.
And then the next day we beat Southern Illinois to win the title. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's our trip down memory lane.
Memory lane. That's right. Now we're playing the Big East in Madison Square Garden. So, but you always got to appreciate where you came from. I mean, you always got to remember those trips to Cedar Falls, Bloomington, Illinois for Illinois State. You got to remember those. Evansville, Indiana, Terre Haute, Indiana. I mean, and now we're going to New York City, Philadelphia. I mean, you always remember where you came from.
Yep, absolutely. I remember my son Heath when he's going, I'm going to go to Carbondale. And it was when Carbondale Southern started going down at that time. Yeah. He went there and went, wow, there was nobody, like, it was such a dump. Number one. Number two, he goes, there was nobody in town that was even fired up about the game at all. Like, he goes, I was expecting to be this rabid fan base. And at that time they'd already taken a big turn for the worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, all those games where, Zach, you don't probably even remember this. All those games where you were like, wow, we're going to have to go to DJ's dugout. Hopefully they'll have it on the internet for us. And the game would freeze. Remember the game would freeze?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're screaming at the TV. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
That's right.
word.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if we got a game that was on ESPNU, we were freaking
we thought we were big time, right? Remember the bracket buster games? We would play George Washington or somebody. Yeah, I thought we were big time. Yeah, we were going to play in the bracket buster.
Remember we played Northwestern one year? That was like the highlight of the century.
It was.
And now we play Holy Cross on national TV, and nobody gives a crap.
Right, blow them out by 30. Yeah.
Wow. So. But that's that's a good lesson to know where you came from.
That's right. Appreciate where
all right, Zach's bored with us, Jerry, because we're reminiscing.
I actually wanted to thank you guys because I turned 26 a couple months ago. I'm off my parents' health insurance. I was feeling old, and this made me feel fairly young.
Yeah.
I think the earliest guy I remember in the Valley is Osiris Eldridge.
There's a name.
So,
I think there's a name.
I think him. And I remember that lefty Missouri State had. He was like 6'6" and would always have huge games against Creighton. I can't remember. I
think that's the dude Jerry and I were trying to think his name.
Is it?
No,
I don't.
Weems?
No, Blake Ahern.
No, Weems is really good.
Blake Ahern.
Blake Ahern. Yes, Jerry. Thank you.
My kid remembers all that. He's a sports record.
Your kid had a jersey for every team in the Valley.
Pretty much, yeah. He remembers all those games. So yeah.
Well, I remember, that's kind of how I got to know you. You and I'd be each be with our sons, and we'd be there like for the 8-9 matchup. Like,
oh yeah,
like, it was awesome.
Oh
it
yeah,
was just awesome. And it would like you talk about the Valley days, like you're talking about New York. You go to New York, and you may, your next door neighbor may go, and you might not ever see him if you don't know,
right.
Where you're staying. Valley, you saw everybody that you knew from Creighton, even though there's 8,000 people there.
Oh yeah, it was the fun. But yeah, I remember going to those Thursday night playing games. When Drake would play like Evansville, there'd be like 200 people there in that big arena. And
God, some of the greatest games though I'll always remember. Porter Mosier getting fired over that playing game.
Oh yeah,
they were up 11. They were on a roll, just killing Indiana State. And there was a timeout. And I'm like, timeout? Oh, Indiana State called the timeout to stop the run. They go, no, Illinois State called the timeout. I'm like, why would you call a timeout? You've gone on an 8-0 run. And then at that point, the whole game turned and Indiana State beat them. And the next day, Porter was fired.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, I remember McKenna coming down there with one of his early teams, winning those playing games and getting to the semis. And God,
there was always one coach it seemed like that was coaching for his job or was going to get fired.
Yes.
Drake had a couple of them. I mean, I remember Evansville. I mean, yeah, it was always.
Then
one.
You had
Barry Henson. Yeah.
Then you always had the. And Barry was a treat to watch on the sideline.
Yep.
And then you always had the Wichita angle with Creighton. I mean, it was just. The anticipation of Creighton and Wichita meeting and St. Louis was just blowing up, and usually Wichita would get beat by somebody,
Yeah. Oh, they get beat by, what was it? Indiana State or Illinois State that time. It was supposed to be Wichita State and Creighton in the finals.
Yep.
And Marshall was so pissed. Of course, he always thought he got screwed by the refs. And
yes, and I missed that. I'm pissed to this day. Because I didn't go back down in the tunnel right after that game to the press area. And I missed the whole thing by like 2 minutes. I got down there. There was people everywhere and everybody was scrambling. I go, what happened? He goes, oh, Marshall went berserk. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? I missed this.
Yeah. Well, I remember I was sitting and they got beaten in a semi. I think it by Illinois Staters.
Yep. Because then we played Jankovic in Illinois State the next day and they took us to overtime.
Yeah. And then he comes out to talk to the radio show, and I'm sitting there, and I said, nice loss, Marshall, but you could just see the look on his face. I think he would have walked over and tried to take a punch at me because I was going to yell something at him, but you could just tell the anger. He just had that anger look, and obviously the guy's got mental problems because the guy had success. Nobody has touched him with a 10-foot pole. I mean, Rick Pitino got a job before Greg Marshall, so that should say something about Greg Marshall's character.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's too bad because he's a really good coach.
He is.
He's a good coach, and I don't know what happened to him or what went on in his mind. And I guess, you know what? He had a ton of money from Wichita, so he probably would have said, screw it, But I can't believe a guy that competitive didn't want another job.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but, maybe the word got around that, he had, uncontrollable temper.
Well, he said he did some pretty bad things.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody wanted to touch him.
I think Doug Elgin, the old Missouri Valley commissioner, said it best. Said when, of course, Creighton left and Wichita State left, really hurt it. He made a comment to somebody like, I'm really going to miss, it really hurts having Wichita State leave the conference too, but I'm sure not going to miss Greg Marshall and his wife.
Yep, that's what he told me that. He actually told me that off air to my face that one year when Loyola came here and played the NIT game.
Yeah.
Doug came and he was in DJ's and we were doing the post-game show and I saw Doug and I'm like, oh my God. And Doug remembered me because he just loved Blue Jay Banner because he just thought that was the greatest thing ever in the Valley because nobody had a show like ours. He just thought that was great. And so he came over and was on the air with us and he's like, don't ask me about Greg Marshall. I'm like, okay, I won't, Doug. Yeah, that was the one I missed in the alley for people who don't know. Greg Marshall just yelled stuck his finger in Doug's chest and said, I'm done. I'm out of here. I've had it with this crap.
Right.
Well, okay, go play in the AAC, but
the
fact that you can't beat anybody, this is not, an indictment on the Valley.
Well, you see what Wichita State got beat by Alcorn State the other night, maybe last night or something.
Boy, they have just I can't imagine. I wonder what the crowds are like there because that used to be.
Oh, there's nobody there. I was catching highlights and
there's nobody there.
It's been empty.
Wow. So it's probably like Southern back in the day, that thing would sell out. But when Southern started going down, nobody went to the games.
Well, I went to that New Year's Eve game we played down there. Antoine Young was the point guard. That
was a great game.
And I told my son, he was young, I said, whatever you do, don't mouth off the Wichita's because they're liable to punch us. I don't want to be getting in a fight. And yeah, it was a very tense environment. I mean, they hated Creighton down there, hated everything we stood for. So but that's what makes good rivalries, and that was a great rivalry. So,
and that's what, honest to bring it back to today, that's kind of what we missed when we went to the Big East. We really didn't have a rival. Like, I think most of the Big East didn't know what to think of us, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, we had a great team to start off with, but then they didn't really know, and everybody kind of thought it was going to be us and Marquette, and that never really developed. And finally, UConn kind of seems to be our rival now, right? Like in baseball, it was Seton Hall, right? Mm-hmm. Am I right, Jerry? Because you're the big baseball guy.
Yeah, I think now it may be Xavier, UConn. I think, right. Got a little bit chippy last year in the tournament when Xavier was, hitting home runs that are up 25 and, dancing around the state. So it's going to be interesting to see what Xavier, because they've, it all depends on the sport and the team. And I could see UConn being our rival, but it takes time. I mean, rivals just don't happen overnight. So,
but I mean, this UConn Creighton feels like Wichita Creighton.
Oh, they do. You know what I mean? Creighton. Their fans. They
don't. Right. They think they had the picture of us out in the cornfield. I mean, it's just different. It's just different. It's like the Royals and the Yankees back. And I mean, it's just UConn, the city, East Coast. Where the hell is Creighton at? Why are they in their conference? It's just, they think we're corn-fed farmers. So I mean,
well, it was interesting back in the day. When the rumor was that UConn wanted to join, and we were still a 10-team conference. And I remember having McNamara on from Providence, who was a, fabulous guest. We got to have him on. We got to have him on at Providence Place. He'll come on the show. Anyway, I remember saying, whatever you do now, we don't want UConn. And I thought, and I texted him afterwards and I said, why, what's the big deal with UConn? And he goes, those are the most arrogant, obnoxious fans. And I know everybody thinks Providence is that way, but I'm telling you, UConn, you're not going to believe it. And boy, he was right.
Yep.
He nailed it.
Yep, they're definitely arrogant. Definitely.
But this will be that game we play at UConn. That'll be kind of the tester if we can withstand this, run we've had against UConn, because that has been kind of weird. And because I always, it was weird because when Hurley was at Rhode Island, I was like, God, I don't want to face this guy.
Yeah, he had Creighton's number.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was like, and now we're at UConn. I feel like Mac out-coaches him game after. Like that game 2 years ago, we had no business winning that game in UConn. Right. No business.
Well, it's a physical, ugly game. Both games last year were just scratch and claw. Did we beat them 3 times? Did we beat them in the tournament too?
That was 2 years ago.
Okay. Well, I know. Well, last year we beat them both home and away. I know. So
last season was 2-0, and then the year before.
Yeah, and like I said, they had more talent than us last year. Let's face it. I mean, we had no business to me beating them twice last year. They were a more talented team, but I think Mac out coaches them, like you said. So
yeah.
And I think it's frustrating as a fan base. You think you have superior talent, and some other team comes in and beats you. You think it's inferior. So that probably pisses fans off.
Plus, they have those banners hanging there, and they think, and you got to like I remember when they came in the league, I just, I knew they won national championships, but when they started adding up, like, holy crap, they won 4 national titles in the last 25 years. It just blew me away because I didn't think of them like that. I knew they were good, especially under Calhoun, but they took a big tumble, and so it was like, wow. I thought their fans, would. It's kind of like Green Bay. There was a great, now that, Green Bay's terrible, to bring it back to football. Yeah. Green Bay's terrible. Someone had a great joke. How many Green Bay fans does it take to change a light bulb?
No idea.
3. 1 to change a light bulb, and 2 to reminisce about how good that old bulb was.
Yeah, that's true. Living the good old days, right?
All right, Jerry.
All right, thanks, guys.
You go.
Yeah.
Thanks for killing a good hour of our show, because that was great. But that's for all you young kids. So that's learn about the Valley, what we went through, and where we are today, to get to appreciate where we are today.
Hey, I got the 2008-2009 Missouri Valley Champions shirt on.
That's right. There you go.
Look at that. So who's up? Wait. Whoa. So we got Jeff Day, number 1.
Was Jeff Day still on the team then?
Well, there's number 1.
What number was Sitzman? Was he 5?
Yes.
Okay, so
number 3 had to be D'Anthony Bowden, right? Yeah. Then Funk. Zach, start talking so you get on the screen.
Okay. I know Chad Millard 13.
Yep.
Booker Woodfox 14. Caleb Corver 15. I wish I remembered more of these guys. Kenny Lawson.
Yep. 25.
25, yep. And then 23. Was Daryl Ashford on the? No, because he was a JUCO guy. He was only there for a couple years.
I don't think Daryl Ashford.
Was he on that team?
32 had to be Harriman.
Oh yeah,
Casey. Oh my gosh, Casey Harriman.
And you had Tolliver on there, right? 41.
Tolliver would have been gone by that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, who's 10 then? Who was Funk on it? Funk wasn't on the team then.
Yeah, I think Funk was 2003 to 2007.
So then we must have had Dotzler on that team.
Yeah, Dotzler would have been on the team.
So Dotzler would have been 12. He was number 12.
But I know if this helps at all, it was
who's 43? 43 was 43. Is there a 43 on there?
No, there's 40-41.
Ooh, Jerry.
I don't know.
I know. The guy we brought in that eventually went to St. Mary's, left-hander, big guy.
There was the guard too, Andrew Bach.
No. I'm thinking of the left
guard. That has to be.
Jerry, you know who I'm talking about. He transferred to St. Mary's. He was really ticked off at Altman. It didn't last but 1 year.
Oh, Cavell Witter. Cavell Witter.
No, that was a guard.
No, I'm going off. I'm still just reading my shirt. Sorry.
Okay.
No. Cavell Witter was 3, but no, 41 was the left-hander. He came in with Lawson. Him and Lawson came in as a pair, and we thought,
yeah.
I remember who you're talking about. Weirdly,
you know who I'm talking about.
I remember. I do not remember the name.
Yeah. He went to. I'll look it up. Jeez, we got a computer right here.
Yeah.
He went to St. Mary's. Remember that?
I do.
Come on, Jerry. You should know.
I know. I'm sure my kid knows.
You said what? What year was this, Zach?
2008, 2009.
This is great radio podcast. Yeah. I'm telling you what. 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
God, I'm going to kill myself when I find out the name of this guy. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Here's the lineup. Let's get the roster up here. God, it's driving me nuts not being able to think of the guy's name.
As soon as I see the face, I recognize the face.
Oh, yeah. As soon as
Kenton Walker.
Yes!
Kenton Walker. Yeah. Okay. So Josh Jones was on this team. Antoine.
So and by the way, just totally screwed up number 1. It's Justin Carter, for crying out loud.
Justin Carter. Yeah. Okay.
One of the great Jays of all time.
That's right.
Cavell Witter, Dustin Sitzman. Yes. Oh, you know who number 10 was?
P. Allen Stinnett. Yeah, I remembered that as soon as I saw it. Sitzman was 5. Dorwart and Sebastian were on this team.
We got Josh, Chad, and Booker next. Caleb Corver. We got 23 was Josh Jones.
Yep.
Who is now announcing at the games? Okay,
and he
24.
He changed his number a couple times, right?
Yes, he did. He was 5.
Yeah, he was
later
5.
on.
I think he was 0 at some point too.
Matt Dorward, who sits right over by me, is number 24. Kenny Lawson 25. Antoine Young 30.
Yep.
Casey Harriman 32. Derek Sebastian, there's a name.
Oh yeah.
Him and Dorwart were both my coaches at camp.
And Kent Walker. Kent Walker's a pretty good player.
Yeah. He was. I remember him being solid. It was just such a weird, like, that hit a weird part of my brain.
Who did Cavell? Remember he had that game in the NIT. He put up 42 points. It was like double. Who was that against?
Oh,
it was like an NIT game, I think, in the first or second round. I forget who that was against, but
I can't.
He had like 42 points. He was the guy that got into a fight, I think, with P. Allen Stinnett.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the big rumor.
Yep, I knew it was something involving the two of them.
P. Allen Stinnett. Oh my God! I wonder what he's doing now.
I couldn't tell you, man. I remember.
Where are they now?
After he left Creighton, he was still coming back to go to Creighton games.
Yeah, and he ended up at Missouri Western D2 ball,
Griffins.
and I think and he got suspended like 3 or 4 times that season. Shocking, right? So I think it was our first top 100 recruit at Creighton. We were so excited, and then great freshman year, but oh man, was that guy a head case.
All right, hey Zach, do you have Jerry's on the line here with us? Do you have highlights?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Let's do it. Let's do the highlights with Jerry on here.
All right.
Real quick.
So we can bring us back to the present a little bit.
That's right.
Reminisce about that great 08, 19.
There we go.
That was a pretty good team, though.
Yeah.
Pretty good players on that team. That was P. Allen's last year, right?
No, I think he had one more year.
One more?
Remember he was suspended.
His last year was Altman's last year.
Right.
So he was still good then.
Well, he got suspended a couple times. I remember he got suspended there toward the end of the year. And I remember going to the NIT game or maybe it was a CBI game against Fairfield. It probably was and P. Allen walks in with his "I Love Me" shirt.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Remember that Fairfield game? That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was Cooley was coaching. Cooley was coaching them.
Yeah, Cooley was coaching Fairfield, and and he walks in with this "I Love Me" shirt. I'm like, oh my god, and that everybody was like looking like, what the heck is P. Allen wearing? And
then he also got.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
He also got suspended, and I don't know if that was the same team. He got suspended for the Nebraska game in Lincoln. And we took Josh Dotzler, who couldn't hit a 3-pointer if his life depended on hit a 3 at the end of the game to force overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And then we end up losing.
Yeah.
All right, here comes the highlight. Right. Let's go. All right.
Get the sound up a little bit. Doesn't seem to be much sound.
Huh.
Man, this has got to be a Dotzler assist coming up here because he pretty much had assists all night long.
Oh, you mean Nimhart?
Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Sorry, Dotzler. Well, Dotzler had a lot of assists in his days too.
Yeah, he did. The audio is weird for this. I'm keeping it turned down because.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
How many points did Kalk end up with tonight?
22 tonight. 22 points.
He didn't miss a shot, right? I think that was right, or didn't? Or maybe missed one.
19. He's been 19 of 19. That was another easy block.
Yeah.
Ryan,
another beautiful feed to Kalk.
And they did move the ball around good tonight. And now on that.
I mentioned earlier, Jerry, to Coach Williams that there was one possession where we threw the ball around 6 times and got a wide open look, and Matt ran out on the floor and just applauded him for a great ball movement.
Mm-hmm.
But here comes another roll.
Yeah.
You can see it coming a mile away. Like, hey, heads up, defense.
Another play that sticks out in my mind. Remember when we were up 30 points and Trey Alexander dove for a ball at midcourt? And I mean,
thank you, because I brought that up to Jalen because I said, Jalen, I noticed you jump off the bench, and that's the same thing I did. I jumped out of my seat and said, wow, kids out there hustling when we're up 30.
Right. Instead of just jogging down the court, they're still playing.
But again, tonight, I don't think all of Kalk's shots made. Well, he made 1 3-pointer, but beyond that, I don't think his other shots couldn't have made it to the free throw line if you added them up.
Right.
I think is this the possession? I don't know. There were a few of them.
Yeah, I think this is the good ball movement one.
No.
No, that wasn't it.
No.
That was an athletic play by Fred.
Yeah. I didn't think he was going to dunk that.
Yeah, great play. Just when you watch the highlight, you're like, wow, you can't see that coming.
Yeah. But Nimhart had 10 assists, is that right?
12.
Great, 12. Wow.
Yeah, here's the one. This is the one.
Yeah, here's the one.
Yeah, that's the one where he gave
Nimhart
Baylor
and
wide
Brady,
open
and just nailed the 3, right? We didn't see the shot, but yeah, that was great ball movement. I mean, that's what a coach loves to see. There's an alley-oop to Kimura, yeah. Again, great sharing of the basketball. I mean, you got to appreciate a team that moves the ball around like that. Nobody's looking for points. Nobody's point hunting. So,
Art, like I told Jalen, Art had just had another quiet night, really.
Yeah.
There you go.
Make the cut. There he is. I'll take it.
Wow, just nothing but net, too.
Yeah, it was a sweet-looking shot.
Sharif wants to score. Sharif wants to score so bad.
He does. He just didn't have the shot. What did he say to get the technical? I missed that. I was watching.
I didn't either. I totally didn't see it. I thought maybe Fred got the technical, but yeah.
By the way, Holy Cross was shooting like 57% from three until halfway through the second.
Well, that one dude, that Mo dude, man, Zero, he had a great shot, man.
Yeah, he
beautiful looking shot. And that big guy was tough down there.
Yeah.
He gave us a lot of problems. He had some nice moves down low.
You think Kaluma's shot looked better tonight?
You did?
For the most part. There was one in the first half that did not.
Yeah, he still got that little hitch.
Yeah, just not 100% sure. And he's going to have open looks all year. I think, you got to give Creighton, you got to leave somebody open. And I think, a lot of people are going to let Arthur test him to say, hey, can you make it? We're going to give you the shot. And then maybe he'll jump out there. But
you're absolutely right. I think, like if I was a coach, I'd say Kaluma would be that guy, even though he shoots them really well in practice as one of their better three-pointers. I'd leave him open because I'll tell you what, Nemhard to cut your heart out.
Right.
Leave him open from three. He'll make those shots. Mm-hmm. If not, he'll start dribbling in and then dishing. So
and Arthur too. I mean, he can take the ball to hole as quick as anybody. So you got to play off him a little bit. You got to give him something. So, you're going to say, yeah, hit it. You prove it. You can hit that three consistently on me. Then we'll come out. But he's going to get the opportunity to take a lot of wide open threes, I think. So. Because he's just so athletic, he can blow by the most. So you can't, like I said, you've got to leave somebody open to go help for.
Here's their guy. Here's their guy. Here's their guy.
Right. Again, good player, but it's going to be hard to find minutes on the team.
Here's another. Look at that. That's just pure, man.
Yep, he's got a good looking stroke.
Foot back, he'd have got another point.
Yep. Nope, but again.
I thought 21. I thought Mullet was a pretty good player. He did a lot of good things for them.
That was the first thing I noticed too, was the mullet, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I thought he was pretty decent. Look at, man, that's beautiful.
Second unit for Creighton now. Yep. Miller.
That was such a nice pass.
Stoltzberg down the baseline. Gives it back. Miller with 5 to shoot.
Yeah, and
there's Ben. I thought he was going to get, but then he got the rebound and went back up.
Yep.
We might see all 13 Ben Stoltzberg's points here.
Yeah.
God, that's the thing with Mason too. You get a little bit of a mismatch, and he's a big kid. He can take that thing inside.
How much zone do you think we'll see this year, Tim? I mean, I know Holy Cross stood out there for you.
Well, they tried it for a little bit, then it was like nothing but death. I don't know. I'm curious when we play Texas Tech,
Yeah.
Because they're long and they play that 1-3-1 and just, they want you to dribble that into that corner, into that trap. Oh, man. Woo. What is he going to look like in a couple of years?
Shot big by Yates. Finds Stoltzberg.
Here comes another one. Boom.
Young brings it back for Creighton. Osmani turns the corner. Off the shot fake. Osmani has the bucket.
Oh, there you go.
Was the line minus 30?
It sure was, Zach. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. So that's a
Creighton is 3-0 again under Greg McDermott.
Anyone who took that minus 30 probably wasn't too happy about those free throws.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That
was a big deal there. All right. Jerry, thanks for joining us.
Yep, thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it, man. Have a good evening.
Thanks, bye.
good friend Jerry, who will probably be subbing in a few times here during instant reaction.
I gotcha.
I was going to check on a couple scores here out of our conference today.
DePaul beat Minnesota.
So Villanova struggled against Delaware State, as we mentioned. 33.5-point favorites. They won by 10.
Yep.
DePaul just hammers Minnesota.
Yep.
69-53. Penn State had a big lead, blew it, but then got that half-point cover, 68-62. And then Creighton with the 94-65 win. Tomorrow night we got big slate of Big East games. We have a Stonehill, Providence, who cares? Northwestern, Georgetown, who cares? Buffalo, UConn, Central Connecticut, St. John's, and then we've got a nice game, Marquette, Purdue.
That will be a solid game.
Fairfield plays.
Is that the only Gavitt game tomorrow?
Yeah, it's the only one. But then Wednesday we have Iowa, Seton Hall. Nice matchup there.
Yep.
Thursday we got St. John's, Nebraska.
Can't wait for that one.
And then we start getting into some real big-time battles over the weekend. We have Friday night. What a great night for hoops. Villanova, Michigan State. Indiana, Xavier. Now, that'll is a big-time game. Big-time game there. Providence finally plays somebody. They play Miami over the weekend. And then, of course, Monday, Marquette's down in the Fort Myers tournament. They play Mississippi State. And then the Empire Classic, Temple and St. John's play. So got some Big East games on Monday.
I was thinking about this earlier today. And tell me if you think I'm crazy. But do you remember Austin Reeves from Oklahoma?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
That's who Stolzberg reminds me of a little bit. Just a steady guy, solid shooter. And it's been a little while since.
A little bit different player. I think Ben's is a little bit bigger. Ben's big. I mean, Ben is 6'5". He's put together.
Yeah.
Ben can get into the hole a little more than, say, Reeves could. But
true, that's true.
And I just think Ben's shot is just remarkable, really. Yeah, okay, so that's our show. I hope you enjoyed the trip down memory lane that we spent about an hour doing. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
This is the longest show we've had yet.
And then he whips open the Valley shirt, which is awesome.
Yeah, I had it on underneath.
Look, people that are still watching, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's so important to us. It's so important to Zach. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thursday night, hopefully we will have some sort of a show. I hope to join you live from Maui. Ross is under the weather, so we're hoping he's back in action by then. And then just to follow up, so Sunday, what you'll want to do is come on our YouTube channel. I should have a bunch of interviews and so forth from Media Day, which is Sunday morning over in Maui. And then Monday, we will probably not have an instant reaction show. However, we'll hopefully have some interviews and clips you can see here on YouTube. And then Tuesday, regardless of the time of the game, because we don't know, it could either be an afternoon game or it could be an evening game. We will definitely have an instant reaction show. All right. So that's kind of our schedule. Wednesday, obviously up in the air, depending on how the games go down there in Maui. Zach, thanks for the great work. Thanks for the people joining us.
Yep.
Make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel, favorite, share it with everybody, and we will see you on Thursday.